Dentistry is evolving fast. Whether you are just starting out or have years of experience, staying sharp matters. What training should you focus on? How do you find mentors who truly support your growth? And how do you keep your skills strong throughout your career? Today, we're diving into how to stay at the top of your game now and in the years ahead.
Welcome to the Pillars Pod, where we will explore the foundational values that shape exceptional dental professionals: excellence, ethics, professionalism, and leadership. Whether you're an ACD member, a dental student just starting out, a young practitioner finding your stride, or a seasoned dentist committed to growth, this podcast is for you. Today marks one of our very first episodes, and we're thrilled to kick things off with a really special guest, Dr. Brenda Thomson, a respected ACD fellow whose career exemplifies the very pillars we stand for. I'm Dr. Sonia Sluda, joined by my co-host, Dr. Sarah Paradis, and together we will be diving into a conversation with Dr. Brenda about a topic that resonates with every stage of the dental journey: keeping on top of your game throughout your career.
Dr. Thomson was the owner of a successful full-time general dentistry clinic in Mississauga for over 32 years. A passionate lifelong learner and AGD fellow, she has served in leadership roles across the profession and now represents the American College of Dentists as a regent. We're honored to welcome her to the Pillars Pod. Welcome, Brenda.
Thank you both.
Welcome, Brenda. So to start us off, what habits have helped you stay relevant in terms of continuing education?
I think our profession is so important that it is imperative to stay relevant. Communications are instrumental to staying current. Reading dental journals, taking CE courses, teaching at the dental school, volunteering for your dental society, and speaking with colleagues are all key. At certain points in your career, one or two of these may be more important to you, but that too can change over time. I believe that by giving back to your community, you will get so much more in return.
So true. Giving back to our dental community is really important in staying on top of things and staying relevant. Was there a moment in your career when you felt you were falling behind?
Yes, that moment occurred shortly after I gave birth to my second child in 1990. Around that time, there were some significant changes going on with restorative materials, bonding agents, and primers. And I remember speaking to colleagues, and they were talking about all this, and I didn't have a full understanding about these systems. So I swore to myself that I would never fall behind like that again, regardless of the circumstances. My patients really did deserve better than that.
That's such a powerful commitment, Brenda, and one that so many of us can relate to. Staying up to date in a field that evolves so fast is no small task. I'm curious, where do you look for high-quality continuing education? Would you say that there are specific speakers or topics that were especially influential in helping you navigate all the changes and stay on top of your game?
I would strongly support the AGD as its courses are certified and appropriately categorized. You get great accreditation for their courses regardless of which province or country you reside. And the AGD courses are highly valued and thoroughly vetted. But additionally, I found that the Ontario Dental Association, its component societies, your dental faculty, the Toronto Crown and Bridge, and of course, ACD Ontario section, they all have very good sources of quality CE. But I would be mindful of those weekend offerings that are not affiliated with solid, predictable course providers. And I would suggest that you consider branching out on the courses that you select. Don't just enroll in your favorite subject matter, though it might be more comfortable to do so. If you struggle with, let's say, molar endodontics, Just imagine how much more confident you will be after an advanced postgraduate instruction course. Even if you continue to refer out those challenging cases, you'll be a better source of information for your patients. For example, even though I never placed implants in my dental practice, I was quite knowledgeable about the entire procedure and was able to better guide my patients and help them make a better decision. And I also have found that my local community and colleagues were a great source of solid CE recommendations. Additionally, several of us would get together regularly, and Sonia, you will recall this, to discuss our favorite dental techniques, material choices, and staffing issues. So those gatherings were all priceless sources of information.
Outstanding advice, Brenda. Now, you've also been very active in organized dentistry and have attended numerous conventions. Would you say that your involvement and leadership helped to enhance your career and knowledge as a dentist?
Yes, a different type of learning is acquired through volunteerism and committee involvement. So, regardless of where you volunteer, I found if it's at your local dental society or your church or your child's soccer team, you will meet like minded people. Build your leadership skills, your communication skills, your IT skills, and maybe even your T-ball skills through these projects. So it is vitally important to keep learning lifelong.
Brenda, I love that. Lifelong learning through real life connection and service. It's amazing how those experiences outside the clinic could shape who we are inside. Speaking of growth, can you share a story about a mentor who changed your career path?
Yes, my mentor was Dr. Randy Lang. Randy was a very successful, highly regarded orthodontist who practiced in my community. And Dr. Lang was recognized for his teaching skills at the U of T, for his extremely humorous writing skills, and for the support for the Dentists of Ontario as the RCDSO representative. Although we attended rival dental schools, we became fast friends, and he referred patients to me, and I referred patients to him. I learned a lot about the importance of family and friends, loyalty to my community of patients and staff members, and the importance of volunteering. So we eventually worked together for over 3 decades, and we're still friends, though we live far apart. And Randy was the one that nominated me for fellowship to the ACD in 2007.
That's such a beautiful story, Brenda. And it's clear that Dr. Lang had a lasting impact, not just on your career, but on your values and relationships. Thinking back to those early days, I wonder, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had shared with you when you were starting your career?
That is a great question. When you first graduate from dental school, you're on a high and you think you know basically everything about everything. But unfortunately, that attitude will not be appreciated when you speak to your patients and your team members. So I discovered it was extremely important to take the time to sit down and listen to what the patient's saying to you. What are their concerns? And can you actually address those concerns? Regardless of your thoughts, these are matters that the patient wants addressed. How can you make the patient feel more comfortable? How can you cultivate the trust required for a long-term loyal patient? You need to give your full attention and understanding, and the patient will know that their concerns are being taken seriously. So then when I would perform the treatment, the patient was more comfortable, but quite selfishly, so was I. I had not wasted time because the procedures went more smoothly and their concerns were acknowledged and a relationship had been forged.
What a thoughtful reflection, Brenda. And it really highlights how much trust and communication shape the patient experience. Listening isn't just a skill, it's a mindset. So, with all that wisdom in mind, let me ask you, if you were starting your career today, what would you do differently?
Well, back in 1984, immediately after graduation, I started as a junior associate in Mississauga. But due to the tragic and untimely death of my senior associate, I eventually purchased the practice the following year. And at that time, it was very popular to have a storefront or mall location, thanks to the great success of entrepreneurs like Howie Rocket of Trident fame. In retrospect, once my practice had grown to a certain size in the storefront location, I should have purchased a building and moved to that site. This would have allowed me much more freedom, not being under the thumb of a landlord or his minions. Some landlords blackmail you into paying higher rent because they know you are so invested in your leaseholds and your location. I recall one time I actually spent 18 months trying to renegotiate a new lease with my landlord. Did I mention that I had been a tenant in good standing for nearly 3 decades at that time? So imagine your practice value being determined by whether you have a demolition clause or not in your lease. I would highly recommend you seriously consider the option of eventually buying your own building to house your practice. So when you go to sell your practice, you can still own the building and generate some early retirement income if you wish. I would also recommend that you develop a relationship with a practice advisor who can periodically review your practice dynamics. I found this to be very helpful. Do not wait until you're about to retire to do so, because you may have potentially missed out on a lot of growth potential. So if a course correction is required, it could be done in a timely fashion. I also recommend that you never rely solely on anyone to be in charge of finances. There are countless stories of a busy dentist being swindled out of hundreds of thousands of dollars simply because they trusted a loyal employee who took care of banking, who always took care of the books, and who knew all the patients. So regardless of how busy or chaotic your life may seem, you must always double check and be in charge. I do realize there are lots of courses on work-life balance. Seems easy, commonsensical, but rarely achieved. So please prioritize family, make time for friends, fun, healthy outdoor pursuits, and giving back to your community. And always do be kind.
Brenda, thank you so much for sharing your insight and practical wisdom on how to succeed in a dental field that's always changing. It's been a real pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. And we'd also like to thank you, our audience, for joining our discussion today. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at ACD Ontario and on Facebook for updates on upcoming Pillar Pod episodes released each month, including topics like recognizing abuse in your practice and what to do about it with Dr. Fran Stecchi, and managing the expectations and demands of the prosthodontic patient with Dr. James Tonagai.
And that's goodbye for now from Zaira and Sonia, your Pillars Pod hosts. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.